9 p.m. Eastern Time on SiriusXM Progress Channel, which is 127, and it's free from now to the end of the month. So you got no reason not to go to SiriusXM. Go to the website, SiriusXM. I hope you click on channel 127 Progress and listen to my show. Listen to everything there. Tonight on my show, we're going to cover a lot of topics, but the main one is what happened in Minneapolis. We started discussing it last night. Last night we talked about Christian Cooper, who was the black man here in Central Park, where a white woman lied and said that he had threatened her, and she called the cops. While in Minnesota, across the country, George Floyd was killed in front of us on a camera, and a police officer put his knee on his neck. And when black NFL players took a knee to protest police brutality, Donald Trump called them sons of bitches. He said they should be fired. But when a white police officer puts his knee on a black man's neck and kills him, Trump is silent. That is what white supremacy looks like. There you go. Donald Trump will never take the side of a black man over a white police officer, or over any white person for that matter, because to Donald Trump, it's not about Black Lives Matter or Brown Lives Matters. But Donald Trump, all that matters are white lives. That's what he's about. He's a white supremacist. There's no disputing it. Sometimes we forget because we talk about his Twitter fights, which the media is going crazy on. And don't get me wrong, Donald Trump threatening to shut down Twitter today is a real issue. It deals with our Constitution. It is fascism, or arguably socialism, the idea of government controlling private companies. But to me, the biggest issue of the day is what we learned more about George Floyd in Minneapolis. More video was released of prior to the police putting their knee on his neck. We saw that he was not resisting arrest at all. He was sitting down calmly. There is a gap in the footage. We have no idea, and I'm dying to see what happened, but there's no excuse. The police killed a man. They killed a man while bystanders said, "You are killing him," while George Floyd screamed out, "I can't breathe." And on the show today, we're going to talk about George Floyd as a person, not just a statistic. He's a man. He's a man who's a 46-year-old African-American man who's a father, who worked a lot with the community, who coached sports, who was beloved by people where he worked in a restaurant as security. Play some clips from his sister and his brother. Because you should hear about people like George Floyd as people, not statistics. Donald Trump will never talk about him. I'll also play Joe Biden today, making very strong statements on this case, talking about how this is murder, how the police should be charged, and how we need to address this issue from a big picture view, because this is a symptom. And we had a great discussion on my show yesterday. And if you're interested, you can listen to it on demand. Again, it's free on SiriusXM. And we'll have more today where African Americans called up and shared what they think we should do in our society to try to get it to the place where Black lives matter as much as white lives. And that's what Black Lives Matter was about. We know that. But how do we get to that point? And many had great suggestions, from having more African Americans in the police force, to having more black people as chief of police or elected officials, or getting more involved in politics, or using economic influence to change the system. But the bottom line is, it came across from everyone, is that racism permeates every part of our society. Let's be blunt. Our Constitution, the birth of this nation, enshrined white supremacy, and that had the fugitive slave clause, saying a fugitive ran free has to be returned to the owner. That is protecting slavery, the very essence of white supremacy. So I look forward to having a conversation. I learned so much from listeners. That's why the first hour I always have to say, but you are my guest, because I learn from listeners. I learn from when you call, share your life experience and what you're looking at. On the show today, we have some really interesting guests. We have a professor from Harvard Law School, Sharon Block, to talk about an issue I've been talking about nonstop. She's a labor lawyer. She used to work in the Obama administration. How do you form your own union? I'm not kidding. How do you form it? It's easier than you think. And the time of mass unemployment, unequal bargaining power, where you're going to deal with your employers who are will be able to do anything to you. I think it's time for even more unions in our country to see union membership grow, and maybe even unionize your place of work. Talk about that with her. Gene Sperling, who served as National Economic Advisor to both President Clinton and Obama, is going to be on to talk about his book, We talk about the dignity of work, especially during these difficult times. And finally, Julian Zelizer, my friend, he's a professor at Princeton University and a CNN contributor, talk about everything politics. So it's a great show, and again, it's free. Join us from now to May 31st, absolutely free on SiriusXM. Just go to the website. My show, again, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, channel 127 Progress. Join the conversation. Stay angry. That's the key. When Donald Trump does what he does it get you angry? Good. Remember that. Hold on to that anger. That's how we won in 2018, the midterm elections. That's how we're going to win in 160 days on November 3rd. Stay angry, my friends. Tune into the show. Look forward to hear from you. I hope you call in. Love to talk to you. The Dino Budala Show. Thanks.